Alright, we are back with so long-awaited clash between Fedor Gorst and Deuel on the main TV table here in Moscow at the Kremlin Cup 10-ball event. It's a race to 8, and we're into the very first rack of this match. Very nice safety laid here by Deuel. Most probably Fedor will have to jump over 3 balls or just use a kind of a mass save shot to go around. Just like right now, he is trying to calculate the cue ball's path and decides to go for the third option, probably go in the one rail kick. On this angle for a kick, I think the cue ball is bound to go a little bit wider, like Jeremy Jones was saying. The angle would open a little bit here, so it's a wise idea for Fedor maybe just to compensate for that and trying to hit more down table to aim the cue ball a little bit closer. Makes the legal contact, but leaves the shot for Corey. The moving balls didn't do that much of a damage in terms of the position. The 3 ball goes to the side, and then the 4 to the corner. Well, got to do something with the 7 though. Right now, Corey's got a good angle to break those 2 balls up a little bit. Or even just like that, using the fine position play. Leaving a clear hit on the 7. And he just checked if the 8 ball goes to the corner pocket past the 9. Obviously it does. Stunt follow here. Another little roll forward, if he wishes so. And that's an opening rack for Deuel. We've got 3 American players in a row at the main TV table All of them are going to be a part of a Dream Challenge event, which will follow shortly after the Kremlin Cup. Who knows, maybe during the Dream Challenge we will see the Kremlin Cup winner involved, be it an American or a Russian player. First break of Fedor Gorst in this match, and a very solid one. You see 4 balls down. In a pretty good position on the one. The yellow one wobbled just a little. Alright, right now he is going to be hitting one rail and back to the middle of the table for position on the 6. 8 to 9 is just another stun shot. Just trying to get closer to that position line. It could be either direct stun shot or a stun to the rail and back. But here it's a straight draw. Very smooth cue action by Gorst. Very controlled speed of the cue ball. Well, 2 run-outs from our players. Corey is raking the balls for the 10-ball break, just the way Jeremy was explaining before, positioning the 2 and the 3 in the corners. And just like we've seen last year, Corey is breaking using the rail to position his bridging hand. Yes, the score is 1 apiece. Let me check if there is one more round to go
table number
today.
12. Use station here, table number 12.
Well, this is the last round, but some of the matches are only scheduled so far. Apparently not enough tables, even with the venue of this size. Just to remind you, we are playing in one of the Luzhniki sports complexes. Before it used to be Olimpijski Sports Hall, also a very big one. If you just can imagine the building enough to host a skating rink or a basketball court, that is where this very event is taking place. Looks like Fedor Gorst is going to capitalize on Corey Deuel's break. Another QTech-sponsored player, just like Billy Thorpe before. A stop shot on the 9-ball would seal the deal in this wreck for Gorst. So Fedor goes up. So, hooray, Jeremy Jones is back in the booth. The best in the business with the expert commentary, very insightful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Michael.
Well, it's not like me making the compliments, it's the whole world, Jeremy, believe me.
Well, I think he's going to hit this one with some speed. Don't think he'll slow roll this one. That's a nice shot. Oh, And that's why I thought he might put a hair more speed just because of that 9 ball, but you don't want to lose too much accuracy on the kick also. And quite possibly the best jumper in the world. He may not be the best, but I don't know of any better. Like he's so
well,
close.
apparently he put many hours of practice into this element.
Well, and I think it's paid off in many ways, and I think it's going to pay off again here. I think I know it sounds crazy. He's pretty close to the 9. He's got some distance, so any miss hit on the cue ball will curve. But I think he makes this like 7 or 8 out of 10. The problem is here, I don't think he'll be able to draw the ball much. So maybe the 9 comes into play again on the 4. We'll see. Oh.
That's an early sign of despair by the Russian youngster.
Okay, so Corey's going to check and see if he can just simply stay there near the 2 for the 4, even though he's got a little bit of a cut. And for Corey playing with in the pyramid as well, I don't think for most it would be so easy to change back and forth, and not so much the game, but just because of the cues. Pyramid cues being what you would know more than me. What's the ounces on a pyramid cue? 20, almost 30, maybe.
Oh, well, I'm not
28,
sure about the
27?
ounces, as long as that's not the like
What you use,
measuring
yeah.
measuring
Right.
system we're using, but like in grams, like I think it weighs 1.5 like times more than a pool cue. Obviously due to the ball size and weight difference.
Well, that was an interesting shot drawn past. He could have come to the side rail near the side pocket and had the 7 in the corner. Now he can draw this on the slick felt. He doesn't have to follow this ball. He can draw to the in rail. Nice stroke there.
And got a good angle to go towards the 10.
May end up having to play short side on the 10, huh? Could just kind of dink it in.
Yes. No need to power the shot here.
Yeah, he wanted a little more out of
Yeah,
that.
I don't like him finishing on the rail though.
No, you would much rather have more angle and be off the rail.
We've seen top champions missing these balls, especially straight ins.
Corey had a scratch in his last break, so dodging the side just barely and then running down the rail with the cue ball. So yeah,
Once again.
Yeah, that's just usually can't afford one of those in a match, let alone 2. He's getting nice spreads and making balls. He made 2. Put the 1 in a nice position, just losing the cue ball.
Oh, he looked being a little bit quick on the preparation. Just maybe not taking enough preliminary strokes.
Yeah. 3 goes by the 10 easily, and you can see the 5 and the 6 work easy for each other. 7 over the side or in the corner, with the 9 being close. So don't expect anything but success for Fedor here.
I would play 7 to the side, just not to.
Yeah, I mean most likely, but you know, 7 to the side, you would figure there's a lot of room, but the corner is a little safer, believe it or not, and just because of the position of the 9. But you know, it's a little preference. Guys play a little more towards the sides these days than players years ago. They played a little more dominant towards the corners.
Oh, actually, at first the 7 seemed to me to be closer to the side pocket, like given the possibility of a scratch in case you opt to play for the corner. But now I see just the distance is okay, and you can get enough angle to avoid that.
Yeah.
And right now, going to the corner is much better.
Yeah, and he's actually gotten to where he can play it either. Cause so if he plays the side, he'll just check it with a little inside and come in between the 7-9. Never threatening the 9 at all. So. And if you want to keep your game sharp, when you play position to balls, it's more about what keeps you in line more than worrying about a missing. A lot of guys move to the side pockets because they want the easier shot, and that I understand that. It makes a lot of sense in many regards, but sometimes when the balls lay a little funny and you get a little funny on a side pocket, it can be hard to get position.
That looks very composed, Fedor Gorst. And he, I think, calmed down a little bit. I'm telling that looking at the color of his ears, like a couple of racks ago, they were bright red.
They're a little flush, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I've watched him at the Baza every day since we've been here in Russia, and now going on 6 days, I guess.
Yeah, I would say you came pretty early this year.
Yes, we did, and he's put in a lot of hours at the Baza, playing a lot of good players, Ruslan and Vitalia and some other guys. So really preparing, and I know it hasn't been just these last 6 days. I'm sure it was previous weeks beforehand as well. So at that age, you can't hardly get enough time at the table, it seems like. You're always wanting to play. And he'll have that arm break, watch. Not much body involved either. Yeah.
Looks as if you have given him this advice, just not to use the body motion.
Well, I think
because in generally, like Fedor applies some of this.
A little more speed, yeah.
And
but I think the guys are realizing you just actually get a little more inconsistency with more power, especially with the template. You can really find that speed that really works well. That's one thing I've thought about with Corey. I mean, Corey's a very talented guy. I mean, he's very creative, of course, and got a great mind. One thing I might have thought of him leaning more towards the style of the break that the guys have these days. I think if he spent more time trying it, he would get it down. But I've seen him be very successful with the in-rail break as well. So. But the thing is, you have to have a few. You can't just rely on one.
When it comes to break and pull, Corey Deuel is the one to rely on.
Okay, he's wanting to get. The reason why he's looking at that side of the table is he knows he can handle a lot of angles to get on the 3 in the same pocket. If he tries to get over for the 2 in what would be the obvious pocket, well, he could fall to where it could not be so easy to get on the 3 ball.
Well, just one rail and to the center of the table.
Well, the thing is, you have to get from the 3 to the 5. So you want to play the 3 on the other side. he's a little light there, and now the 9's going to come into play, so that could be an issue. But you could see there's only a really small area if he played the 3 in what would be the lower left pocket on your screen. There could be issues. Getting back on the 5, I mean, and not so much making the 3.
Well, now both the distance and the position of the cue will be a little bit closer to the rail than he.
I think he's got to kind of punch this to not hit the 9, and he's got to punch it with a lot of accuracy to not go into the corner pocket as well. So I think just with a straight top English, he's involved in the 9 ball.
Or he just probably barely misses it.
Maybe. May even catch a piece of it. Okay, hit it great. A little flat though, so we're going to have to see some type of power shot, I think. Can he draw past the side without using the cushion? Okay. Yeah, that's all you need there is about the head string. You actually want an angle to come up for the 6, so. Oh, he's coming 2 rails with top inside.
That's a good effort.
Yes, very good.
And once again, he was guaranteed that the English turns into opposite, like the stop in English on the third rail.
Yeah. Kind of a little bit of a check.
Yeah, though once again on U-cloth, the effect is not as obvious.
Yeah, but there
as
still
you are
is
used
some,
to.
right? Yeah. But still a nice stroke anyways, just perfect speed. And that's one thing about Fedor. When I first saw him, I kind of, the talent's there, of course. You can see that, and what a great junior player he was. But he was a little bit mechanical, like a robot. But now he's a little more fluid, and I think it's really served him well. It's going to serve him well for many, many years to come.
Well, being in kind of mechanical served him the fame of one of the best in terms of fundamentals here in Russian pool. Like, I think
absolutely.
he is the best when it comes to hitting the cue ball precisely.
Right.
Like even like I think Ruslan or it was probably Kosta Stepanov mentioning this.
Sure.
In Russian pool, nobody can hit the cue ball as precise as Fedor because, like, first of all, of his bridge length, he doesn't like put his bridge hand very far.
Well, that's a big one too that I preach to people. The long bridge can really cause a lot of problems.
Yeah.
A lot of people watch Shane, and best player in the world there for. Still is, in my opinion, but
and they don't realize that
his technique is different.
Yes,
though.
if they use the longer bridge, I think they just it is the way they have been taught, like many years, like since their early childhood.
Yeah, but there's certain shots, right? If you're a little bit more robotic, you don't get the feel of certain things, like little subtle swerve shots with the cue ball. And I don't mean massays, but I mean like inside English and low outside when you have to kill the cue ball, where I think he's gotten a hair more fluid. So the combination of that perfectly straight stroke plus a little better timing, really, I think his game's going to go through the roof.
So let's take a quick look. There are the matches going on. Ruslan Chinagov is trailing to Mohammad Ali Pordel from Iran. And Ekland Kachi looks like being a little bit of a trouble versus Denis Grabe.
Well, Grabe's been playing very well for the last probably 18 months. He's had a lot of big matches and not quite the wins he wants, of course, but just been very steady. That was a more square hit there. Put the one almost identical to the last 2 racks when he scratched.
And managed to get 3 balls on from this break.
And he should just go with a high outside English here, catching 2 rails back to the center of the table. Okay, kind of overhit that. And you see he made it hydraulic a little bit, which actually slows the cue ball down a touch. On the dry table, at the slick table, you got to be a little cleaner. Just let the ball turn over.
So Corey has to roll the cue ball forward here.
Yeah, and that's maybe why I didn't like coming back for that side, because if you get a little out of line on the side, you got to start making these little funny strokes, killing the ball, and you know, like here, got to hope the speed's really nice. If he ends up a little thinner on that ball, maybe it's a little harder to get to the 9.
Well, came up nicely. Of course, cue ball had to travel more on this shot, but that's perfect. So with this shot, Deuel closes the gap.
Yeah, didn't waste much time doing it.
Trading only one rec now.
Yeah, probably the longest bridge that Fedor uses is on the break.
And you have to generate some power on this particular shot.
Yeah. It throws a little off, but not bad. Wants the one to bounce, and it will. It's going to be a little thin.
Well, he hit the cue ball a little bit stronger than before this time.
I agree.
SVB did not win over David Alcaide. He made a good effort, but lost in the end.
Yeah, Fedor knows he's got to turn the cue ball loose a little bit if he decides to cut at the 1, which I don't think there's any choice, really. I mean, it is somewhat bankable, but you would think the cut's still easier.
Doesn't like this possibility of probably losing the cue ball.
Yeah, I think he'll avoid the side, but just like he looked at initially, I think he's going to go towards that 5 and 9. Not the type of shot you want to spin with a lot of outside English on the slick felt. You'll actually probably address it with inside.
Top view, it looks close to impossible.
Well, you know better than that.
This kind of cut.
Okay, he used every bit of the pocket.
And some extra.
Yeah. He's looking to see how he wants to play the 5 if he edges the cue ball off the 9 and spins towards the 7. Don't overthink it too much here, though. The 7's very available. So even if you had to you got straight on the 5 and you had to draw back a little bit and take the shot on the 7, not a big problem.
Just some check in English on the cue ball to stay on the right side of the 5. Well, still the angle is a little bit wrong, but like you said, it doesn't make any difference.
No.
As long as the way the 7 is positioned.
The scary thing about Fedor is not only his game's going to get better, meaning, you know, he's going to learn some percentages a little bit better, and they're not bad by any means. He's great tactically. He's great at almost all parts of the game, but he's already mentally very strong at a young age, and that's the scary part for me. I think he's just going to get mentally stronger, meaning handling pressure, certain situations.
Well, I think he got like proper tough schooling at the Derby City, going there from the very young age.
Oh yeah.
And like when he was 14, he was battling Alex Pagulayan.
Yeah, and well, he almost won the 10-ball event.
Yeah.
The 10-foot event.
I remember he made Alex. Well, Alex won in the end with some spectacular shooting in the. I think it was Hill probably, or the last track. But like he made Alex earn every single point during that match. And
Yeah.
Once again, he was only 14.
Who did he lose the final to? I'm trying to remember. Was it in the 10-ball? He lost in the 10-foot challenge. He got to the final. I think I commentated it. I'm trying to remember. I commentated so many matches over there. John Mora, maybe? Maybe?
I don't believe John could have gone that far.
Well,
Provided he had to switch like.
no, he was right-handed
playing
then.
opposite.
Still,
really?
yeah. And he's amazing, left-handed as well.
Yeah.
Strong-minded young man as well. So
That's actually very good to have John back in the game.
oh yeah.
Because like some years before, he was like making some posts on Facebook, obviously, about him just quitting the game because of these issues. But then, this strong passion, it won and just helped him to overcome this. It's very good. So we got some hints on the chat. Thank you guys. Roberto Gomez probably.
Yeah, that's
over
who it
Fedor
was.
Gorst, yeah.
Yeah, it was Roberto. That's
Yeah.
exactly who it was.
The Superman.
Yep. I think Roberto's biggest win, I think, probably. You know, it's only a 16-man field, so of course the guys always want to win the 128-man field, 256-man field like the U.S. Open.
Bigfoot Challenge. Well,
It's a quality, of
very,
course.
very tough competition, actually.
Right. No, the quality's there for sure. But you know what I mean. Single
Yeah.
elimination, 16-man. Of course, it's one you chalk up as a big win, but not like here or U.S. Open or
And
some
once
others.
again, the 10-footer just
Yeah, just
completely
that, just being that,
completely
right?
different game. Yeah.
Yeah,
And by the way, we've got one table at Baza.
I know. It plays nice.
Must be the only 10-footer in our country.
Well, I personally think that's where the pros need to go. That's where I think that
Yeah, I agree.
a little separation amongst pros is okay. I mean, you'll see that upper tier shine a little bit more on
Yes,
the 10-footer.
and from there is a very short road to the Russian pyramid, to the 12-foot table.
Well, I don't think the Russian pyramid would be. I'm trying to figure out like a rotation game that would be okay on the Russian pyramid table with the regular size pool balls. I mean,
Actually,
I think that it might be an okay game there.
There was, I'm not sure it is developed any longer, but there was such kind of a gamble game on the pyramid table using the pool balls.
Yeah. Well, Corey got fortunate there to get, because he's moving the cue ball quite a bit, and he got on the perfect angle on the 4 for the short side pocket, which he was never wanting to do.
So quite relieved for the rest of this wreck. Just don't let the cue ball go too far. On this shot, I think only maybe to the short rail and back.
Well, if he comes out 2 rails here, he could fall a little funny with the 10 being there.
Yeah,
to
he
get on
went
the
for
9.
this option, but just, well...
He's okay. He can go by the 10 now.
To me, it looked like almost like a straight pull pattern, you know, just keeping closer to the...
a little triangle.
Minimizing the cue ball movement, yeah.
Well, that's what I said a second ago, that it seems like to me for Corey, he is a really great position player, but sometimes you lose your head a little bit, and it seems like he's had a lot of cue ball movement in this match, which is very uncharacteristic.
That's amazing how the guy of Corey's caliber and experience can lose his head once in a while.
Oh my, speaking of it.
Oh my gosh.
Speaking of it.
That's kind of a mental blooper, I think.
Yeah, and that's what happens though. You get to playing a little faster than you're used to, a little more cue ball movement than you're used to, and it almost, steps up and bites you, kind of like, regular life, I guess.
Well, at the same time, it shows how unforgiving the side pockets on a diamond table can be.
Yes.
At times.
Especially from small angles.
Yeah.
And he didn't hit that very hard. It was just a matter of trying to get the cue off the rail a little bit for the 10. And this has gotten a little funny.
Yes, that's a little puzzle for Gorst with the way the balls are positioned.
I think he can throw it in. The thing is, when you're close to it, the cue ball doesn't revolve as quickly and as much as when you have a little room. So throwing the ball doesn't work quite as well, you might say. Just like if you had ball in hand, you would never set it up close, right? Because everything doesn't react how you like it.
I think he's got to go for the thinnest of them hits and just maybe make the cue ball travel 3 or 4 lengths of the table.
Maybe. Just a natural cut, you mean?
Yeah.
That's pretty good speed considering the shot.
Yeah.
He stayed off the rail. He didn't get too far below it at all.
That's I think maybe 3 times harder than my option. Just making a loose shot and he didn't hope. Well, you know better than me that their hit and hope is actually a style for some guys, and when you got steamrolled by them, you just sit there helpless and just maybe blame the fortune.
Right.
And they seems like they get all the rolls, everything. They just they see the ball, they cut it in, and just don't care about the position whatsoever.
Yeah, a good playing banger, maybe you might call him. Yeah. Oh, it's happened to me plenty of times. And you can almost feel it coming, just little things happening. Of course, you probably dog it a time or two. That's such a harsh word, dog it. Got to figure out a new one.
Well, we used to have such a player here in our pool scene. I'm not giving his name out, but recently, maybe in 2 years, maybe it's called maturity, but he changed his style.
For the good? Better?
Yeah.
That's good.
Now he is thinking a little bit more.
Well, when you find that combination of the brain and the body, it's pretty deadly. The guy breaking the balls is a pretty good example of it. Does it get any better than that?
Very solid break shot. No opening shot, though.
Well, I think he may be able to get to the back rail and spin this in. Because the one's up a ways, and that's how you want it if you have to put a lot on it.
Yeah, I got to give it some study, yeah. Just the way you noticed. That short rail.
Yeah. The thing is, again, you have to give it time to take the spin. So it's a touchy shot. It's a nervy shot, you might call it.
What about two-rail kick? It
He
gives
can't-
you more chances probably
You mean
to,
cross the side,
to,
you mean?
to pocket the ball.
Yeah, but you're not going to pass this up, though. I don't think you're going to pass that up. Both are tough to judge a little bit because the slick table, but imagine at a slow speed, right? If you can trust the slow speed, imagine going to the end rail. The ball's never going to hang, right? The one, I don't think it will ever hang. It will either hit the point and come out a little bit over, and then cue ball come up. It's just like...
I think it just depends on how slow the speed is.
Well, I'm saying like...
yeah, I see.
Yeah, the one's going to be... You're going to come across the one at a slow speed, right? So I think it's impossible to overcut it. Hitting it thick, I guess you could catch the point and it hang, but I don't think so. It's almost like certain banks, like when you cross the ball over like this and run the cue ball back. Well, that angle, it doesn't want to ever really hang if you aim to the top side of the pocket. Now, if he hits it, all right, there's that soft speed I was talking about, and you just had to trust it.
That's perfect.
And that's more of that fluid stroke I was talking about. When you get a little robotic with that stroke, you don't control the swerve of the cue ball so much.
Well, it's almost close to impossible to produce such kind of a stroke. Like
Right.
A very smooth and a slow one.
Right. But I think that's where he's changed a little bit of his technique in the last maybe year. When I was first around him, maybe 2 or 3 years ago when I was first around Fedor, he was a little more choppy with the stroke. Still played great, don't get me wrong. But that's another thing. At a great player at a young age, he was still willing to try and improve, even if it had to take a little bit of change.
Well, we all know that there is always some room for improvement.
Yeah. And quickly in prime position to get on the hill and have 3 breaks to win the match, I believe. Or no, 2 breaks, excuse me. No, 3 breaks. 6-3. No. Yeah, 2 breaks because Corey won the lag.
Yeah.
That looks perfect to where he has a choice. He can either pinch draw the ball back for the 9 in the same corner or fall forward. And he got close enough to it to where he can really hold the angle and the side pocket's not much of a threat.
Another very nice draw, just like in the second drag of this match. All right, the Russian kid goes on the hill. Well,
And Fedor had commented last night at the pool room that he thought Ruslan was a big favorite, one of the favorite to win this tournament, just because of how well he's playing. And for him to say that as well as he's playing, I have to pay attention to Ruslan, I guess.
yeah, well, probably Federer knows it for better. Well, actually, I've heard Ruslan also changed something in overall approach, like maybe not only to pool but to life. I've heard like during last year, and well, it pays, obviously. Like.
Yeah, I talked to him about it in Vegas a few months ago during
really?
those big tournaments. That he's only 26 years old, so. Thing about Ruslan, he's been a champion at Pyramid at a young age.
He's been in the business like since 12, I believe.
Right.
So just looks almost like forever now.
Well, you have to do things to keep your inspiration, right? To keep your drive. Wow, now a dry break. So we could see some quick work here. Now the 4-9.
The yellow one ball was the last hope for Corey. but it stayed.
I wonder if he'll play this rail first on the top cushion to come down, or if he'll draw, because he could play it with a little running spin and get right to that position he's at right there. 4-9 is going to be a kiss shot. That's what he's looking at now.
Oh, he even studied the combo, but the kiss I like it better.
I think right there he was looking at coming out of the pocket on the one is what he was looking at. And the beautiful thing about the kiss shot is you don't have to get close to kiss shots. You can play them from some distance and the angle's still the same. Okay, it looks like he's going to draw out of there, and okay, that's nice. Come 2 rails. Thing is here, make sure you're not going to get behind the 8. The real worry here is getting over the 8. So make sure you put enough speed.
It looks like one of the drills by Johan.
Yeah. Yeah,
namely yo-yo drill.
Yeah, the
if
yo-yo.
You know what I'm talking about.
He did get behind the 8. Wow. And he was trying to play it straight in for some reason.
Well, that's unfortunate. I was hoping for the full ball hit, but
well, it looked like he could make the kiss shot from any side, far side of the table. So I'm pretty curious there that he didn't play that with a little more speed, and he wanted a little more angle on the 3, I thought.
Just needs to find some free space with the cue ball.
Yeah, I wonder, did Fedor ever play pyramid at all? Like try to play it, you know, I know he's played it a few times, but
I'm not so sure. Maybe he was brought to the pool hall first, like to play pyramid, but it didn't last long. For sure, Maxim Dudenets has some background.
I knew that
in
actually.
Russian
Yeah.
pyramid. Yeah. He was raised like a pyramid player first. Well, I don't think it lasted very long for Gorst, because like even at 9, he was still like that high.
Right. Well.
Very short one.
Grabe is making quick work of Kachi, up 6-1 and shooting. But Grabe, like I said, he has played some. I saw him last year in Holland, and then of course several times in the States. But he's last year and a half, I think he's really come on.
I think Grabe is pretty familiar to the U.S. Pool scene.
Oh yeah, I've seen him a lot in many years.
It seems like he travels maybe like a 2 or maybe even like 3 times a year regularly for every like big event there.
All right, rail first with a little draw, trying to make this and come across. Okay, he's going to cut him off the offensive shot, I think. I think the 8's in the way of the bank.
Yeah, well, right now we got some conversation between the players, not sure about the reason. Because like Gorst looks very puzzled in his chair. Like what is Corey is up to.
Now he could chip the 3 either side. I kind of like going behind the 6 a little bit. It looks like he can leave the 3 behind the 8, maybe. I don't know. It's touchy. It looks like he may be going 2 rails behind the 7-10.
What about behind the 10? I think.
Yeah.
2 rails behind the 10. I like it better. And I think it's just the way Corey was aiming this shot. That's a very good cue ball control.
Yeah, very
perfect.
nice.
Perfect. It really leaves Fedor in trouble.
He's got to just kick 1 rail across, I believe. Could go 2 rails, but it's not a real big ball, 2 rails.
Well, the main problem for Fedor in this position is like the proximity of 5 or 6 to his object ball.
Oh, he's looking at 2 rails that way, shooting elevated over the 7. It's not too bad.
Well,
Slick table is tough, though.
I don't like this that much because of the awkward bridging, first of all, and then it will be very hard to apply the required amount of English if he needs one.
Well, I also thought he would just kick 1 rail to the side rail and just slowly try and lay on the 3. You got a lot of good things that could happen as far as the ball stand. Just ball stand tied up, maybe.
Long rail, yeah. Just like going underneath the 3.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, this diamond, like one diamond from the side pocket, is a pretty big target.
Mm-hmm. And this he won't hit 100 miles an hour either. You want to keep accuracy. Like, he's got some good things that can happen if he hits it.
No way. I mean, the cue ball got too wide, and even if he got the hit, he was not going to make the rail contact. So ducking behind the 5 once again.
I don't think so. I think he's going to try and run out. Wow, this is no good. I'm sure where he was going there. That kiss shot must not have been on, because both guys tried to avoid it both times they had openings, right? I think that's why Fedor got hooked on the 3 to begin with, because he was trying to avoid having to play the kiss shot.
And that's weird, because like that was the way he started, like examining the position.
Yeah, exactly. Now he's got to play safe.
Well, managed to get that.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Fedor is a very difficult man to play safe on because of the jump cue. And not just him making it, but like right here, he can control banging this 4 round table and holding the cue ball underneath the 9 and the 6 and the 5. So I think Corey's a little underdog from this position, believe it or not. Dennis Grabe up 7-1 and at the table again against Kachi.
Looks like we're going to have a formidable loser's side in the face of.
That's what I was telling you about earlier.
Shade went bowling and Kachi.
I think you were saying something about an easy road to the. There is no easy road
for Shane. Yeah.
We'll see about that.
I'm not sure Kachi is going to play Shane.
I think it's, but a race to 8, you know, I mean, alternate break with the guys. There's a lot of talent in the room that maybe doesn't have all the titles that everyone else does, but oh, he banked it right on in. He called the side. He meant to cut it a little bit and play the cue ball behind the 9. So Corey can't give this back, obviously, but he's got a bit of a tester.
I wonder how the template ended up on this side of the table.
It's making its rounds.
You don't see that often.
Mm-mm. Well, the referee's talking to Fedor while Corey's shooting. I'm not sure about that. Not sure why he's over there at the table, why Corey's shooting.
Don't tell me that.
Well, you know.
We didn't see that.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's nothing to be mad about, but just got to educate some of the referees sometimes, you know. It happens. The only thing I could remind myself of that.
Anyone
Oh,
know
that one kind of went
what
off on
jump stick Fedor is using? Well, Fedor is a QTech player,
him.
QTech sponsored player, obviously. So all the equipment he uses is by QTech. And I think Tom tips if you want.
Okay, he's gonna attack this with a high right ball, trying to beat the side pocket coming across. Going 2 rails. Now he's using more of a downward hit rather than more spin.
Oh, do you like a stun shot here or a little bit draw applied?
No, just right English. Yeah, but he hit it downward on the ball, trying to make the ball grip a little bit more.
Got away with it now?
Yeah. Oh no, he didn't get away with it.
Yeah, that's a clean hit for Deuel.
Ooh,
Hmm.
that was close.
I didn't see that coming actually.
No, he hit the 6 a little thick to the pocket. That's the reason why he didn't get so wide
No,
up.
I mean the way just the cue ball contacted the 8, it didn't look at first like it was going to
separate.
to try to duck behind it, but then in the like last instant, it was scary.
Yeah. Watch out now.
Uh-oh. No.
Yeah, you don't want to get too thin on this. Now you could get below the 10 easily. Got to be aware of that. He may go ahead and catch 3 rails like this.
Yeah. Oh, watch out, this crash though. Okay. Managed to avoid that.
Well, he's got to dodge a lot of things. That
Well,
main thing being Fedor's break.
Still pretty much down, 4-7. So what about the other matches going on, Jeremy?
Yeah, well, I was trying to find Max Eberly. What
Let's
table
try to
he's
refresh
on.
the
Yeah.
bracket. All right, Maxim Dudanets is leading Vitaly Patsura 5-4. Ruslan Chinakov is ahead over Mohamed Pardel with the same scoreline. Mario He is getting beat by Konrad Juszczyszyn pretty much, like 1-6.
But the Polish guys play great. I mean, they train. There's
Yeah,
like 7 or 8 of them that play great.
They got a very good squad here, like in the face of Fortuński, Mieszko Fortuński, Juszczyszyn, Storczynski, the guy you were facing.
Beat me
Like
this morning,
even
yeah.
Radoslav Babica is still capable of doing something.
Right.
And we will not forget
Yeah,
Mateusz Śniegowski, who was the winner of this event once.
Oh, missed it a little bit. So the one's not going to get maybe as near the pocket.
Once again, no opening shot, and just Fedor is mocking at this bad fortune.
Well, a little bit of fortune that he didn't scratch. Because if you'll watch, definitely crossed the one over quite a bit there. You can afford a little bit of the crossover.
Yep, he failed to make the solid hit. Like the full face cut. What is the score? The score you can see on the scoreboard, it is 7-4 in favor of Gorst in a race to 8.
Looks like he may be able to just hold the cue ball behind the 6 right there. It's real close. I'm not sure if he can get at a full 1 ball there. If he can, good chance he can hold him right behind the 6. The key to this is don't let up on the stroke. Don't try to like softly hold it. Oh, he had to play
this is
behind
gonna
the
be
7.
hard.
He had to cut it.
I'm still not sure about the shot Fedor was playing here.
Yeah, he couldn't get at all the 1. That was the problem. So he was actually trying to have the cue ball go a little slower behind the 7 is what it was. Just a little.
Well, actually, on the second thought, I like it banking table length.
At the 8?
Cross corner, yeah.
I'm not. That's what I say. I don't know. I think the 6 had him to where he couldn't get at all the one ball. He had to hit the right side of it.
I still believe he could have manipulated the ball rebound with some amount of English, if there was not enough of the ball.
I think this 1 is very tight by the 9 going to the pocket.
Doesn't look like so.
Well, it's taking a lot of time, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, obviously didn't have the full pocket for this shot. But failed to produce a good safety though. Right now, once again, I think in this position, Fedor is the one in command. Like going,
absolutely.
Going 2 or maybe even 3 rails around behind the 2 and the 3. What do you think?
Yeah, he could be very aggressive trying to get up on it. A lot of times you'll just play the simple hook here, but it looks like he's going to go ahead and he's kind of going to put a little more power on this.
That's it.
Yeah, that's nice.
I could only wish he rolled a little bit further towards that cluster.
Yeah.
Just
But
limiting the options.
It is, but again, that's when it gets away from you sometimes, and you overhit it, and the ball leaks out on you. Securing the hook right there at 7-4, I think, is a good idea.
Well, Corey is reaching for the short stick.
Yeah, you don't see Corey use it very often.
But he's got a very versatile weapon, I mean, for the table length, for long jumps, and also for close distance jumps.
I'm not
He
sure.
makes
Did
the
he call
call.
the 1 cross
Yeah.
corner? Looks like the 6 is in the way, like it doesn't go. He's trying to bank it around 3 rails is what he's doing. By the 6. Like that. Take some chance. Something good's going to happen. And it looks like it may have.
Can he play some kind of a wild carom shot on either the 8 or the 10 to drive it into the 8?
Possibly. I got to see exactly how much of the 1 he has. If he has any at all. Does he have any of it? Yeah, he does have a piece, it looks like. Because he would have certainly gone to the jump cue pretty quick, right?
Yeah. I think he can just barely see the left side of the ball. I'll go in for the jump shot. Calling the 8 to the corner.
Okay, so that makes me think he can't see any of this. If he's still thin in the 1 going into the 10. Yeah.
Or maybe he just doesn't like shooting the Messiah shots with his current cue stick. Watch out the cue ball, though, I would say.
He may get a dead snooker behind the 10 here, and it looks like he will.
Yeah.
Leaving a little bit of a rail first.
Nice call, Jeremy. Oh, the rail first is definitely on. And the position is also there.
Yeah, Corey's
Yeah, that's a rail first
very
shot.
inept in the rail first shots. He's going to have to play a little bit of a combinations from distance here on the 2-8. So if he can get this down and come away with a shot on the 2, he should clear this rack up with the look at the rest of the balls. Very playable. Almost was fortunate enough to double kiss it in, but
That's a big mistake.
yeah, he kind of got down quick on it again, though. Didn't take much time.
By the way, that was a foul shot.
Did he rub the 6?
No, he rubbed the template.
Oh, with one of the balls?
Yeah.
Oh,
with
wow.
the cue ball. Just that was the topic we covered with you
Right.
earlier.
Yeah, when the template first came around, I moved it off the table every game.
Yes.
Completely off the table.
I'm a strong proponent for doing this one, because like this way there is no way to mess with it.
Yeah, no questions what happened
Yeah,
either.
sure. And frankly, what bothers me most is like the requirement to reposition it all the time.
Right.
When it gets in your way, you place it here and there, and it just kept distracting me.
Took a quick look at his tip there.
Well, Fedor is very meticulous about his equipment, and if something just is not perfect from his point of view, even though it's okay, well,
He'll change it, huh?
yeah.
Get it fixed, change it,
And
whatever.
I think this is just a little dent in his game, which he is not supposed to have. Just he is letting this into his mind, and that's not a good thing to do. I mean, striving for absolute perfection is never good, I think. Like, good enough is good enough.
Right. Well, there's not many weaknesses, or if any weaknesses, in Fedor's game. Of course, like you said, always trying to get better. That's for sure.
Undercut it a little.
I think Fedor now 20 years old, right? 20, I think. I don't think he's 21 yet.
I have this info written down for the Dream Challenge, but
okay.
I don't memorize it, unfortunately.
Yeah, instead studied it yet, huh? Well, Fedor, a local favorite, obviously, goes past Corey Deuel at 8-4.
Gets a round of applause from the audience. Well, thank you, Jeremy Jones, once again very much for being here with us.
Absolutely.
And good luck to Corey and Shane in the loser side of the bracket.
Well, me too, right?
Yeah.
All right.
You were first hand.
There we go. 10 a.m.
Yeah, sure.